And these are hard facts. I know exactly what my job description is. I'm not saying anything more than that. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. It's great to be back with you. Thank you for sticking with us yesterday as we covered the assignment of ministerial portfolios. Some were expected, some were surprises, and we'll talk about them as the days go. As I said, I know exactly what my job is here on Hard Facts. I'm here to give you the best insights into today's most important topics. I bring them to you, I break them down, I give you the facts so that you can form an informed opinion. Now, if you missed any of our shows, any of last week's shows, any of this week's shows, you can catch it on Facebook and on Twitter and on YouTube at Nigeria Info FM. We have a great show for you today. We're starting with the big three, as usual. Your NEPA bill is going up next year. And kidnappers asked for yam, palm oil, and schnapps as ransom. Our final story, policemen who allegedly shot arrested suspects on video to be tried. Now, today is Thursday, so Eyewitness is back. We're covering the stories that you give us, including one about a serious problem with a new Nigerian passport that you need to know about. That's at 4. On the Big Hard Fact, we're continuing our look at the various ministers and their portfolios from yesterday. I'll have a guest for more analysis, so look forward to that. As usual, throughout the show, we're bringing you the latest updates from the world of news, sports, and entertainment. We're going to start off with the big three, and I have to mention that just like me, because you know it's a Thursday, you are excited about listed negotiation. Today, Ireti Bakare Yusuf is talking to Miss Toyin Odulate. She's a founder of Olori Beauty. She's a granddaughter of Elder Odulate, the founder of Alabukun. And I'm sure that she'll have a lot of fascinating things to say about her Lagos, because that's what Lisa Legoshen is about. You are hearing about this city that we all love and hate, sometimes in equal measure, through the eyes or mouths of some of your favorite people. And it's the biggest reason I love Listed Legoshen, a newcomer to this city. Myself, it lets me see Lagos through the eyes of the Omoekos who have lived here for decades. I'm sure I said Omoeko. That's how to say it, right? Omoeko. It's amazing. Well, I'm looking forward to that. It starts today at 6:30. If you missed the first 3 episodes, you really missed. But try not to miss today's edition. It's starting, like I said, at 6:30. But before we get to all of that goodness, let's tell you what's happening on the Big Three today.
This is the Big Three.
The Big Three.
On Hard Facts. On 99.3 Nigeria Info.
You know what to expect on the Big Three, stories that everyone is talking about right now. Can the discos keep selling us power at a cheaper rate than they buy it? Have you ever had to donate money for a ransom? And finally, does the police have a lawlessness problem? Let's get into these stories. Your electricity bill is going up. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, has increased the tariffs that the distribution companies, discos, are allowed to charge customers. For example, customers of Eco Disco can expect that next year, their NEPA bills will go up by 8 naira 50 kobo per kilowatt hour. Now, this news comes a day after the federal government announced that it will be pumping 600 billion naira into the power sector to clear various debts owed between discos, gencos, and gas suppliers. Now, let me start by asking, do you have a prepaid meter or are you on estimated billing? I ask this because whenever the issue of electricity tariffs come up, you usually tell me the same thing. You usually say, where is the light? They should bring the light first before increasing what they are charging. So let me first talk to you if you have a prepaid meter, okay? Let me talk to those who have prepaid meters. If you have a prepaid meter, then you are only paying for light when you see light. So in that situation, do you mind that they are increasing the tariff? Do you feel cheated? For you who has a prepaid meter, I'm asking you, With a prepaid meter, you're only paying for the lights where you see. In that situation, do you feel cheated? Do you mind that they're increasing the tariff by next year? Because the discos are saying that with the current tariffs, they cannot afford to pay the Gencos for the lights that they're giving you. And the Gencos are saying with the amount that the discos are paying, they cannot afford to pay gas suppliers. So basically, everybody is owing everybody. According to NERC, it costs Eco Disco 46 naira to deliver 1 kilowatt hour to your house. But Eco Disco right now is only allowed to charge you 28 naira. So right now, Eco is losing 18 naira on every kilowatt hour they supply to you. They're not they're losing that money. These are not invented figures. These are the figures from NERC, who see everything. So now NERC is allowing Eco Disco to raise their tariff next year to 36 naira. That's still less than the 46 naira that Eco Disco pays the discos. So next year, you'll be paying more, but Eco Disco will still be losing 10 naira on every kilowatt hour of light that you consume. But that's for you who has a meter. What about you who doesn't have a meter? Your disco gives you an estimated bill. They say you consumed 1,000 kilowatt hours. You should come and pay 28,000 naira. Now, you don't truly know whether you consumed 1,000 units or not. By next year, it's not going to be 28,000 naira anymore. It's now going to be 36,000 naira. But what if you are really consuming far less? And this is the reason why a lot of analysts are saying only increase the tariffs on prepaid meters. Yes, it's clear that on prepaids, the discos are losing money because the tariffs are lower than the cost of electricity. But the analysts I've spoken to on this matter will say estimated billing gives the discos room to exploit the customers. Which means that the next question now becomes, should there be a penalty to discos for every customer they refuse to give a meter? Is it fair for prepaid meter users to pay a tariff that is lower than the cost of power? Is it fair? How should NERC handle the estimated billing problem? If you have a prepaid meter, are you willing to pay an extra 8 naira per unit if it gave you more light? I want to hear from you. 01277 0993, 01277 1993, 01277 2993, and 01277 3993. You're listening to the Big Three on Hard Facts. I am Sandra Ezekwesili. And my first caller today on the show looks like it's going to be Chooks. Hello, Chooks. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome.
Yeah. In fact, I need to do this for the service to the nation and to everybody.
Okay.
Because I will do the analysis. I've been on an estimated bill before, and I'm presently on prepaid meter. So I know the advantages and the disadvantages of both situations. Now, let me start from the prepaid meters. On the prepaid meters is the sure way to go, whether they want to increase to any amount. But the only disadvantage is that since I've been using prepaid meter, there are a lot of things I need to caution myself with. I cannot use a boiling ring. I cannot use a
dispenser.
I cannot use I cannot use the pumping machine. You have to be cautious with it.
Well, it's not like you cannot use it, but it will finish fast if you use it.
In fact, the cost will be so humongous that you may not be able to even when you want to the stove, electric stove, you have to. In fact, I've packed that one aside for a very long time. So many of these heavy duty, equipment, you have to keep them under your bed. Only light alone
But that's how it is in the abroad, right?
Well,
In the abroad, they also ration, they ration the way they use their equipment as well.
With the media salary that we people receive here, you understand? If you compare it, it doesn't add up.
But Chooks, again, one of the questions I asked, for you who has a prepaid meter, right? Are you willing to pay an extra 8 naira per unit if it means that you're going to have more light?
If it comes to that, you will still not have to ration ourselves the more. That means if we are putting light in 3 rooms, you have to start putting light in only 1 room or 2 rooms. According to your cost, it's still better, far better. Let me now go to the estimated bill.
You've been talking for 2 minutes. Let me give another caller a chance to talk.
Let me tell you, the estimated bill.
Okay.
They need to do their research.
Okay.
A lot of light is being wasted. My neighbor that is on estimated bill, they bypass NEPA. Do you understand? They do a lot of shortcuts. They do a lot, concerning that. You see a lot of these NEPA, when they come, they give them small bribe, and they will not, they do all these things. Let NEPA go deep. Like what we are saying, that they should look inward. Nigeria should look inward. We have this money. They should not tax us more. They are not doing their work. That is the problem. Let them get the real people, the sincere people that will come and do the work for them.
Okay,
they will make this money. They are not making the money.
Thanks for calling and sharing your thoughts. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon,
yes.
Sandra. My name is Mohammed, calling you from...
Mohammed, welcome.
Let me just say, I'm in support of what the last caller is saying.
Okay.
I have meter, I'm using meter, I'm paying, I'm willing to pay.
Okay.
Whatever they say, if it's compared to the Constitution, you understand?
Okay.
My issue is a lot of houses I know, I won't mention my area, a lot of houses I know, they pay NEPA. At all, they are not paying. This is I know house. I know one after the other house, physically. You understand? I don't know why
they know they pay. Why they know they pay?
Because of the NEPA staff, whatever staff who in charge of. I don't know why they cannot be able to. They run a cable into someone's house, and somebody tell you that it's entire house. They refrigerated, they put security, this and that. Why can't they then disconnect him? Disconnect the person if he can't allow you to go and check your connection in his building. You understand? I'm telling you, this is something that I know I witnessed even now, even up to tomorrow is going. If they know themselves, let them check and balance their job, their activities. They know how to track and trace. In fact, let me say, this particular transformer or community, let us hand it to community to watch it. You understand? Let's watch it. Let's watch anybody what's happened with prosecution of those who caught in stealing the light. They are not at all. That is why people are going every day. This money that they are looking for it now, if they track all those leakages, I swear to God, they will see more than that money. I know what I'm talking about. I know. I know people that up to more than 10 years, they are not paying.
Okay.
So what are they talking about? Is it as if that we are fools? We are saying we are fools. We don't know what we are. We don't know how to do all those kind of things.
Okay. Well, thank you for calling, Mohammed, and sharing your concerns. A lot of people stealing light, not a lot of prosecution by the discos, sometimes collaboration between the customers and the discos. There should be more prosecution for people who steal light, he says. Well, thanks for calling us. Let's talk to Tolu, who's in Lekki. Hello, Tolu.
Hello?
Yes, good evening.
Yeah, my name is John from Egbeda.
All right, John. I have Tolu on my records, but go ahead.
Okay. The issue is that the amount of power they are pushing out, since Disco has bought this thing, they have not even expanded. Power is not stored. When they push out, power is not stored. It's not that if the power that they push out is not getting to anywhere. And when they did not expand those people that are using it and have more area that are using light. Many people are not using light. If they expand it, they will have more people, bring more people into their payroll. That is the issue.
Okay, that is the issue, he says. John, thanks for calling and sharing your thoughts. Is it fair? Remember, I broke this thing down for you. I told you how much money everybody was owing everybody, right? And I was asking, is it fair for prepaid meter users to pay a tariff that is lower than the cost of power? And then I also asked you how NERC should handle the estimated billing problem. And I was also asking, if you have a prepaid meter, are you willing to pay an extra 8 naira per unit if it gave you more light? We have more callers. Hello.
Hello, Sandra.
Welcome. Good evening.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm fine.
Okay, Wale Amzat is my name.
Wale, welcome.
I now understand why a lot of people fail questions. Now, because the question you ask is very, very simple.
Okay.
Are we ready to pay? Now, I have, meter in 3 places.
Okay.
2 prepaid and then 1 estimated billing. And I want to tell you, Sandra, that the 2 I've loaded 4,000 in the last 1.5 years, and I've not exhausted it.
Wow.
This is because they are working light. Are you following? In fact, I still have, what I have there is still more than half of, what I paid. And where I'm using where they come with estimated billing, I'm paying 80,000 every month in the same environment. Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Do you want me to come again?
No,
I loaded 4,000. 4,000, I've not exhausted it in the last 1.5 years.
And
And
estimated
then
billing.
where I'm paying 8,000 every month in the same environment.
How?
So that shows that if I want to look at it, where I'm paying 80,000 in one year, it's almost 90-something thousand, and I've loaded 4,000. I've not exhausted it. So now, if they are coming with this increase in tariff, it should come with giving everybody
prepaid meters.
And if they don't do that, there's going to be a very, very serious problem because nobody is going to pay. I'm not going to pay. Seriously, I'm not going to pay. In the other side, the other one, if you bring your light, I will enjoy. If you don't bring it, I know that I will not.
I'm not paying. Yes, I'm not paying for what I'm not using.
That I'm not using. It's very, very simple. So the direction we should be talking to is that if you want to do that, we don't have any problem with it. But make sure everybody is giving a prepaid meter. Very simple.
All right,
Thank you very
Bali.
much.
Thank you so much for calling. Let's move on to our second story. But when you call me to talk about the second story, you can still talk about the first story. Police in Ogun State have apprehended alleged kidnappers who demanded a ransom of palm oil, yam, schnapps, and 3.5 million naira from their victims. The kidnapping took place right before the Eid celebrations in Odelmi community in Ogun State. Somebody was tweeting about this story, and that person said that the kidnappers used the food to do salah. And then somebody else said that kidnapping has turned into traditional marriage list. Quite funny, but also not really. Now, here's my first thought. When this kidnapping menace first started, the ransom figures were gigantic. Tens of millions of naira. The kidnappers went after high net worth individuals or vital staff of large corporations. They did that to ensure they could get huge ransoms. But these days, they're coming for very low figures. And this means almost anybody can be kidnapped. Kidnappers are asking for yam and palm oil. Something very similar started happening in some parts of the southeast almost a decade ago, as well as in Rivers State. Kidnapping became so commonplace, people were being held for a few 100,000. How is this possible? How did kidnapping become such a widespread menace? Some people say it's because there are too many small arms getting into the country. It's getting easier and easier for criminals to get guns. So this means that somebody who was doing petty crime yesterday can graduate to armed robbery today and kidnapping tomorrow because he has an AK-47. Which brings me to my next questions. Why are arms getting so common? A few analysts will say it's because our borders are too porous. They'll also point to the crisis in the north, Boko Haram in the northwest, banditry in the northeast, farmer herder crisis in the north central. The fighters in all these crises have brought in a lot of weapons. And the question now becomes, what are the security agencies doing to retrieve all these small arms? And while we talk about these figures being lower than before, they are still not low. Yes, they're lower than what they used to be decades ago, but they're still not low. We hear of people having to borrow 2 million naira to ransom a loved one. People are selling property. It's turning into a serious expense for many people. Somebody was joking that you probably need to start saving for when you get kidnapped. And sometimes the kidnappers think the person's company will pay. I remember when my colleague in Port Harcourt, Akas Baba, he's on Wazobia FM, he was kidnapped, and the kidnappers thought that the company would pay. In fact, they thought that he owned the station. It was quite the thing. But the company often doesn't pay. So it's now left to families and friends of the person who's been kidnapped. There are many cases of somebody coming home from kidnapping and now having to sweat to pay people back. So it's quite the thing. It's quite the thing. Now let me ask you, how safe do you feel when it comes to kidnapping? I don't feel very safe. Have you heard of anybody getting ransomed at these types of prices? Palm oil, schnapps, yams? Do you know of anybody who had to gather money to pay a ransom? Have you ever helped contribute to a ransom payment? Have you borrowed anybody money to go and pay ransom? And then why do so many cases end with a ransom instead of a rescue by police? 01277 0993, 01277 1993, 01277 2993, and 01277 3993. Hello to you, sir. Welcome.
Thank you so much. My name is Kende.
Hi, Kende.
Now, do I know anybody who has been kidnapped before? My answer is no.
Okay.
Have I contributed funds to rescue anyone before? My answer is no.
Okay.
Do I feel safe in Nigeria? My answer is no.
3 no's in a row.
There you go. Now, with respect to the PHCN situation,
Oh, that's quite unfortunate. Call me back. That looked like it was going to be a good conversation. Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Daniel, and I'm calling from Ecuador.
Welcome, Daniel.
Okay. This is what happened. I have actually witnessed a case of kidnapping before.
Okay.
But not me.
Okay.
It was an uncle. And I think part of the problem is that the security agents are not doing what they are meant to do. At that point when he was kidnapped, we ended up paying the ransom because the police force were asking for similar amount of money. It was that bad. So we just decided, what is the whole point? If we pay the police and then they could end up in a shootout and the whole point of what we are doing is not going to hold, why not just pay them and let them release it? So I think we need to address the issue of the security agencies. Thank you.
All right, Daniel. Thank you for calling and sharing your thoughts. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome.
Yeah, this is Oladipo speaking from
Oladipo,
Nigeria.
welcome.
Yeah. To your questions, have I ever contributed? No.
Okay.
But a cousin of mine has been kidnapped. This was about 15 years ago.
Oh.
But he managed to escape. And although it's late now, because it was a trauma since that time for him and all of that. And I think I think our police is not properly equipped and trained for what we are facing today. So they need to retrain. And to your first question, I think I would be willing to even pay up to 50 naira per kilowatt for electricity I am using.
Okay.
But for what I am not using, I'm not willing to pay 10 naira.
All right, Oladipo, thank you so much. Okay, now don't forget that you can actually talk about any of the stories on the Big Three today. Let me tell you our final story. You saw that video online where some policemen killed a man who was arrested. The Lagos State Police Command is conducting disciplinary hearings for those 4 officers accused of extrajudicial killing of 2 suspects. This is in response to that viral video showing police officers shooting and killing 2 suspects that were disarmed and in their custody. The incident allegedly happened on the 19th of this month at Aghogho Motor Road. The officers were responding to a distress call and arrested 2 alleged armed robbers. According to the police PRO Lagos, DSP Bala Elkanah, the officers are facing an orderly room trial. If they're found guilty, they'll be handed over to the state CID for prosecution in court. Now, you can leave us comments on Facebook. Facebook is Nigeria Info FM. I'll take a few of them. I have Atanda Kayode, for instance, who says he's using a prepaid meter. He bought recharged in July with 2,500 naira. He's yet to reach half of that recharge, and then ends with OKO. Okay. Kingsley Ifie Bomuche says, install prepaid meters first. If it cannot be given to each apartment, it can be given to each building, or else you're just wasting your time. Wale Muhib on Facebook says, I'm very happy the kidnappers that collected palm oil, tubers of yam, and schnapps with cash are finally nabbed. Now, back to this third story. You notice here that the officers who did the extrajudicial killing are standing trial. They're getting 2 trials. One inside the police force, and if found guilty, a second one in court. How many trials did those men in that video get? None. So these suspects, the policemen, are getting the fair trial they allegedly denied to other people. Now, some people have supported the extrajudicial killings. They said the men were caught red-handed, but that's not how justice works. After all, the police who were also allegedly caught red-handed on video are going to be investigated and are going to be tried and then sentenced. We do not punish before investigating. It's a human rights issue. Just a few days ago, the police were condemning the extrajudicial killing of 3 of their officers by the army. And at that time, a lot of observers said these are the same types of abuses people have been complaining that the police are guilty of. And now we're seeing an alleged example. So it's going to be interesting to see where this case goes. But I want to talk about the power of media and social media. Nigerians have been complaining about the police for years. But in the last year, I have seen more meaningful action on the part of the police to respond to these abuses than I've ever seen before. And it's because the media pressure is stronger. Remember Kolade Johnson? I keep going back to him. He was shot by police. In years past, that matter would have died. But there was pressure on the police. Nigeria Info stayed on that case. Hard Facts stayed on that case. Nigerians on social media stayed on that case. And finally, the police had to take action. You have so many activists now on social media helping people whose rights are violated. That's why when the policemen were killed in Taraba, the police themselves brought the case to Twitter, came up with a hashtag. They seem to have realized that social media gets things done. This extrajudicial killing, it went viral, and now police is taking action. It's something to think about. And while you're thinking about that, why do you think we have rights abuse issues with the security agencies? The police command says extrajudicial killings go against police training. So why do they happen? Does the police need reform and training? I figure that's an obvious question. Do you agree, by the way, that the media is helping us to hold the police accountable? Again, our numbers are 01277 0993, 01277 1993, 01277 2993, and 01277 3993. WhatsApp is 080 959 75805. 080 959 75805. All right, could you help me with this, please? Thank you. All right, let's go back to the phone lines now. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, welcome.
Yes, my name is Alex, and I'm calling you from Victoria Island.
Hello, Alex.
Yes, I remember about 3 years ago, I was part of people who helped a friend in paying ransom to some kidnappers somewhere around the Ikorodu.
My goodness.
In his farm was built like almost at the bank of a small river or something somewhere around the Ikorodu. So they kidnapped his colleague, his partner, and collected 1.5 million. They collected their phones and scrolled through their phone and saw their transactions. Then they now placed a ransom. The guy eventually paid 1.5. Coming to his own case, it was just on the Saturday morning. They were like doing some fishing on that small river in the Ikorodu there. Before you knew it, because they will sight his car, the car parked, so they will observe that there's somebody around. The next thing, so when I called him, he was in their territory. He had been kidnapped. So they collected his phone and spoke to me. I said, "You people should go and look for money. Didn't he tell you people we have kidnapped him?" They don't even use their own phone. They use the victim's phone to do their transactions so that they cannot be traced. Eventually, we begged them. We begged the wife and all that. We're begging. Then we now gave them about 500,000 naira and some other money. They took some chicken from the poultry. They collected other things.
Wow.
So, it's just a helpless situation. I'm scared. If I go around with my children, I don't go to the suburb, like places like inside Ogun State where police access is even very far. There are no security. You go inside Ogun State, Iba for Mowe, inside or further. Those places are just places where they can even kill somebody and nobody knows. Our policing is not reaching to the grassroots where it is actually needed. That's why you find ritualists, you find cultists in the bush. They will just relax and be doing their operations. Nobody knows until people are victimized and you see people riding bikes into those places to go and carry out operations. Before you start, I don't know. I'm just scared of Nigeria. I'm scared.
My brother. Thanks for calling and sharing your thoughts on the show. On Facebook, we have more comments. This one's coming from Kingsley Ebomuche, who says kidnapping is lucrative. Obviously, what is the deterrent? What happened to Evans? When we start making examples of the offenders, that is when the numbers will start declining. Do you agree with Kingsley? We have Atanda Kaide Samuel, who says only when you have a case with the police will you know that for police to follow up with your case. My case is not kidnapping, but my daughter has been missing in the last 9 months, but yet to be found due to reasons known to the police. Atanda, I am so sorry that your daughter is missing. This is quite sad. How did she get missing? That's a story that I'm interested in. My goodness. All right. Otumba Komolafe says, though the tariff is not cost reflective, I still see no reason why they should charge more since the light is unavailable 24 hours and meter is not being installed, giving room for racket through estimated billing. Liberalize the power sector, let it be on concurrent list also, and we will witness development and improvement. Do you agree with that? Hello to you, sir. Welcome.
Okay, Kende is back here.
Hi, Kende.
Okay. Now, I was going to the power situation.
Okay.
And I'd like to contribute in this way. The problem with the estimated bill has nothing to do with the fact that it's been estimated, but rather it's because those who have prepaid meters have found a way to bypass most of their heavy duties to those who don't have meters. Let me explain. I have a prepaid meter installed. I will tell them, take away my AC from my prepaid meter, take away my fridge, freezer from my prepaid meter, and what do you have? I can use 1,000 naira for 1 year. While those without a meter get to pay for that, because when NEPA comes and they read maximum demand meter on the transformer, they say this is what you guys have consumed. So it's a give and take thing. We need to be honest with ourselves. Nigerians, if we want things to work, let's be honest first and desist from doing all this racketing and all, so that we can have equal share of responsibilities in the land. Security-wise, Nigerian policemen can actually do the job. When people say they are not trained or not, I feel what the problem is, we don't have psychologists in the Nigerian police force. You kill a man.
We actually do. We do. There's not a lot of them, but we do.
When I kill a chicken during Christmas, I feel guilty. Not to talk of killing a human being. Now, you do it once, do it twice, do it 3 times, it becomes a pattern. You don't have emotions anymore. So that's what's going on with the police force. These guys do not speak to psychologists after a gun battle. In America, the moment you shoot a gun, you are sitting down with the psychologist to evaluate you. Can you still go back to work or not? In Nigeria, that's not possible. So I feel it's a failure on the part of government to these men and women serving in the police force, even in the army. I feel it's a disservice. We need to retrace our steps and do the right thing.
Okay. Kende, thanks for calling back and sharing your thoughts. Share the rest of your thoughts with us on Facebook and Twitter at Nigeria Info FM. On the other side of 4 o'clock, let's talk on Eyewitness. I learned about something quite distressing about the new Nigerian passport. I'll have somebody on the show talking with us about that, as well as a representative from the Nigerian Immigration Service. You probably know about this story as well. If you don't, it's a good reason to keep listening to Hard Facts. I am Sandra Ezekwesili. Eyewitness is up next.